Hello there. Autumnal setting? Check. Sensible knitwear? Check. Record button pressed? Checkaroo. Off we go then with this week's foreign papers. And of course, it's all about this week the Champions League. Celtic, Barcelona. What's the similarity between Barcelona and a Mars bar? Well, they both give pleasure to the faithful and they both get battered in Glasgow. Yes, an extraordinary story this. Celtic playing without their top scorer, without their captain, and even more incredibly, playing with Georgios Samaros, but still beating the fancy-dan Catalans 2-1. How did Sport El Mundo and Al explain that one away? Like this. Here's El Mundo Deportivo. It's the Great Wall. Giant picture there of Fraser Forster. They say rugby-style defending, a couple of posts hit, and an inspired keeper. That's how Barca got beat. They have a bit of a dig at Xavi and Mascherano for being a bit cavalier on Celtic's second, that pumped-up kick from Forster the keeper. They praise Parkhead. They say it's hard to imagine how Celtic ever lose here, but they also sound a warning for the Catalans. Centimetres don't lie, they say. Yeah, I got that email as well. Corners are a lost cause for Barcelona. Tito knows it, Neil Lennon knows it, and now everybody else does too. Well, over in Sport, meanwhile, they also give 5 stars for Forster. The headline, though, no fortune, no aiming. Now we have to win in Moscow, says Sport. Well done to Celtic. Plenty of teams try to play this way, but usually they're 2 goals down before even half an hour has been played. But they say, we need a plan B. We need a Henrik Larsson, and we need to reflect. After all, Barcelona missed last year's final precisely because they didn't know how to break down this kind of defence. Very good. Well, that's the view in the Catalan capital. Moving on then to Madrid. Here's Marca. Great front page here. Cristiano Ronaldo playing with himself, again, by the looks of it. The headline there, I hate to lose. But underneath, the reference there to the Parkhead result, they say it's a Guinness record-style defeat. 80% of possession, and Barcelona still lost. It's like the Chelsea semi-final all over again. AS, meanwhile, revealed that Messi and David Villa had words out on the pitch, and not for the first time either, says the paper. As for Celtic, they call them an obliteration machine. They're like a kind of steamroller, says AS, placed on the field to flatten any attempt to raise the tone of the game. My word. Well, Celtic anyway, making roads into Europe, while the Spanish bitumen. What else this week? Anyway, Malaga became the first side to put their place in the next round of the Champions League. Here's La Opinión de Malaga. It's a historic step into the last 16, or as Sur put it, Mamma Mia. They were playing in Milan, you see. They've won the Euro Millions, says the paper. 17.7 million euros earned by Malaga from the Champions League so far, which, since their players are still waiting to be paid this season, is extremely good news. While Malaga, the first team in the next round, meanwhile, this week also saw the first teams going out, including French champions Montpellier, who got beaten by Olympiacos. Here's Greek goal news. We are European. It's a declaration of European permanence signed by Olympiacos on the body of Montpellier. Golly. Here's Gavroche, which bizarrely means anchovy. We tear up the French. Next, we're going to beat the Germans. Bit of a subtext there by the looks of it. Well, also seeing their chances of qualifying ended this week were Lille, another French side who bowed out with a 6-1 thrashing from Bayern Munich. Lille hammered, in a very real sense. Headlined a mortified L'Equipe the next morning. Thanks for the lesson. Lille, says a quite obviously disgusted paper, were like impotent spectators. They give various Lille players 1 and 2 out of 10, call their performance ridiculous and a resounding fiasco, and they reveal it's the severest defeat ever for a French side in Europe. As the paper points out, this is now France's worst start in the Champions League ever. 2 out of 3 French sides knocked out before the group stage is even over. What, you ask, about that French football resurgence we were promised not so long ago? Well, the one Ligue 1 side that's still in the Champions League are, of course, Paris Saint-Germain, and there's absolutely no sign of their profile declining at all. Indeed, while this weekend saw a rare defeat for Paris Saint-Germain, this midweek they've been at it again at the centre of some very high-end transfer rumours. Rumours, indeed, about a €100 million bid to bring Cristiano Ronaldo to the French capital, and possibly Jose Mourinho too. Now, Ronaldo has for some time been muttering about his next contract in Madrid. Remember that I'm unhappy spell he had back in September? Well, according to L'Equipe, that came about just after his people had met with Paris Saint-Germain's representatives, with Real responding by offering to double his wages. The paper now reckon, though, that the Madrid club have opened the door to a possible move because they're worried about what Ron's new contract would mean for them under the financial fair play rules. Paris Saint-Germain, curiously, not as concerned about Platini's guidelines, which will in no way be because they're French. Could it be? Well, maybe. Ronaldo certainly likes spending time in Paris, at least if that occasion in Los Angeles was anything to go by. And the idea of him sharing training with Ibrahimovic would certainly be a kick in the head. So that's a story we'll have to keep our eye on as it develops, because that is it, unfortunately, for this week's Look Around the European Press. We'll be back with more top continental headlines in 7 days' time, so do make sure you join us then.